Almost Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Sound. This Shabbat, this portion of the week is actually when it all started. Shabbat Shalom. Almost Shabbat Shalom. Wonderful to be here. It's wonderful, nice and sunny in California again. This is what California is about. You know, beach, sunshine. Let the sun shine and let the sound be heard. Hello, everyone. What a great day. What a wonderful Shabbat. What a wonderful Friday. A lot of going on, and wow, what a week. What a week, and what upcoming weeks are ahead of us as well. So I wanted to talk with you. I wanted to ask you something. How often, because I know it happens, what happens here happens there, what happens up happens down, and as it is above, so it is below. Did you experience this situation where you feel you are repeating something? You feel you are repeating an experience. Oh, I've been here. How come I'm repeating the same thing? How come I'm going through the same experience? What didn't I learn? But actually, no, you're not. You might be repeating a similar scenario, but you are a whole different person. You're a person that went through experiences or went through changes. And we experience things sometimes that appear to be similar, but we have different inputs, we have different understandings, we have a different way of looking at things. How do we look at ourselves? Do we continue to give others from ourselves that chips into our own core, or did we learn? And we are shifting, we are changing the course of things. And this portion of the week is the perfect teachings for this exact situation. Not just a teaching, it's an encouragement. So that's what I want to talk about and to share with you. So today's portion is portion Yitro. And this is a short portion, but this is the portion where the Israelites are getting they're in front of Mount Sinai. They are hearing the voices. Actually, what it says, they see the voices. This is where the understanding that we are made out of sound, that everything is about sound, frequencies in our body, comes to fruition, comes to understanding. The Israelites are about 3 months exactly after they left Egypt, they arrive at Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai is not the tallest of the mountains as one would expect for a king, for a god to show. It is one of the smallest mountains. It's the desert. God reveals himself in the desert. And one would think, well, why in the desert? Why not on the beach? Why not with trees? Why not in different areas? No, but the desert. Desert is a representation of humility, of vast possibilities, endless possibilities. But what I want to talk about is a specific point. And the question of what did Yitro, who was the father-in-law of Moses, what did he do to deserve that a whole portion is called on his name? A whole portion. And this guy didn't believe in God initially. The way that it starts, the portion, it says, ויתרו ראה את כל אשר עשה אלוהים במצרים, לעם ישראל. And God saw everything I'm sorry, and Jethro saw everything that God did to the Israelites when he brought them out of Egypt. So one would say, well, why do you have to say everything? I mean, the Torah doesn't have one letter that is access. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a meaning. You could say, and Jethro saw what God did to the Israelites, for the Israelites. When you say everything, it hints that Jethro knew something that others didn't. And that's exactly what it is. During when Moses went to Pharaoh and the plagues came on Egypt, Pharaoh was looking at every situation, at every quote-unquote magic, and looked at the weak points, what he thought were weak points. For example, when the animals start dying, everything died. Every animal died except for the horses in Pharaoh's army. So Pharaoh said, this God doesn't know what he's doing. He can't control my horses, so I'm not going to release the Israelites. He didn't see that later on, he will need these horses to chase the Israelites when they leave Egypt. When the crop starts dying, everything died, everything except for some crop near the palace and near Pharaoh. So Pharaoh said, this guy can't control his magic, so I ain't letting the people go. He didn't see that the next plague, which was locust, would need the crop to eat. And so how it was every situation. Every situation was planned, and that is what Yitro saw. He saw everything. He saw the bigger picture. Look at this. You're looking at a screen now, right? You see a vertical screen. But when I move my hands out, you don't see what I'm doing here with my hands. I could do all kinds of things. Right? Why? Because you don't see the entire picture. But if I would flip it vertical, like horizontally, you would see the entire picture, right? And that's exactly the same thing with Jethro. He saw the entire picture. He understood that God is doing everything with a purpose and with a meaning. And when he saw that the next plague was feeding on what was left from the previous plague, he started understanding. He said, I don't see the entire picture. And this is what happens with us. We do not see many times the entire picture, or if not always, we don't see the entire picture. We don't know what today's action will create tomorrow. Our life, our entire life, is one scene, one frame, this vertical frame, in a series of frames in the creation that we haven't seen yet. So this is the time to understand that we must be gentle with ourselves and accepting ourselves, because what we are experiencing today that may appear similar to what happened 5 years ago, 6 years ago, is different because we have a different understanding. We have a different way of looking at things. Maybe back then we would chip in ourselves to give for others, and now we understood, can't do that anymore. Have to be authentic to myself. I want to be authentic to myself. I want to be in a place where I make choices, that are good for me and that are building me up rather than not. Right? I want to be in that place. And so this is when we are in this understanding, in this mode, that we don't see the entire picture. We just need to trust our gut and to trust our intuition. Not what we think about it later, because that is when the mind and the monkey mind starts playing with us. It's the first intuition, the first inclination to do something. The first inclination is usually the right one, because you can feel it in your body. Your body is your guide. When we start thinking, then your mind becomes your pride. We're starting to rationalize things. We're starting to try and figure things out. Why this? Why that? So understand that and be encouraged that we don't see the entire picture. Think about everything is a vortex. Everything starts. Same thing if we look at our solar system and we see the sun and we see everything. Everything is like a vortex. All the orbits of everything is in a shape of a vortex. It's like the Fibonacci code. The same thing. Everything starts with a vortex. So if you flip that, going from the bottom up, we start here, and then 5 years later, we're here. We're still circling, but we're here. Right? But we're circling in a similar situation, but with a different understanding, with a different story, with a different perception. It's like going to a mall that has the same floor plan, all 7 or 10 floors. The first we're on the first floor is food. Second floor is clothing. Third floor is shoes. Right? It's the same floor plan, just a different story. So be encouraged that you are light, and everything is happening for the good and for the better of your journey. And you are here because you are here to re-experience something, to learn something different that maybe you missed last time. And it's just like when we judge ourselves on things that we do or things that we've done. We can't judge ourselves on something that happened 5 years ago, because 5 years ago we had a certain understanding, and that's why we made that choice. So 2 years from now, when you look at today, or 3 years and you look at today, say, well, I made my best choice based on what I believed I needed to do. So we can't really judge ourselves about things in the past with the eyes of today. We're not doing justice at all. We're just causing suffering for ourselves. What we had then, we don't have now. And what we have now, and what we will have later, we don't have now. So be gentle with yourself, because you are the light. You are the journey, and the journey is you, and the journey is for you. We don't see the entire picture. We don't see the entire picture. And trust your gut. Have a Shabbat Shalom, and I'll see you soon. Wonderful view.